Glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. 226. Nirgrantahana ei dunhara visheshana ara artha sunayaiche sadhura sangama. The word nirgrantha can be taken as an adjective, modifying Muni and Atmarama. There is another meaning, which you may hear from me, indicating association with a devotee. Now I shall explain how it is that, through the association of devotees, even a nirgrantha can become a devotee. 227. Nirgrantha sabhe kaheta be vyadha nirhandana sadhu sange se hakare Shri Kṛṣṇa bhajana. The word nirgrantha, when combined with api, used in the sense of certainty, indicates a person who is a hunter by profession or who is very poor. Nonetheless, when such a person associates with a great saint like Narada, he engages in Lord Krishna's devotional service. 228. Kṛṣṇārāmaś eva haya Kṛṣṇa manana yadhahana haya puja bhagavatotama. The words kṛṣṇārāmaś refer to one who takes pleasure in thinking of Krishna. Even though such a person may be a hunter, he is still worshipable and is the best of devotees. Eka bhakta vyadhera katta suna savadhane yaha hoite haya satsanga mahimara jnane. I shall now narrate the story of how a hunter became a great devotee by the association of such an exalted personality as Narada Muni. From this story one can understand the greatness of the association with pure devotees. Ekadina Sri Narada Deki Narayana Triveni Snane Prayaga Karila Gamana. Once upon a time, the great Saint Narada, after visiting Lord Narayana in the Vaikuntha's, went to Prayag to bathe at the confluence of three rivers, the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati. Purport. The great Saint Narada is so liberated that he can go to the Vaikuntha planets to see Narayana, and then immediately come to this planet in the material world and go to Prayag to bathe in the confluence of the three rivers. The word Triveni refers to a confluence with three rivers. This confluence is still visited by many hundreds of thousands of people who go there to bathe, especially during the Magha Mela, which occurs during the month of January. A liberated person who has no material body can go anywhere and everywhere. Therefore, a living entity is called Svarga, which indicates that he can go anywhere and everywhere. Presently, scientists are trying to go to other planets, but due to their material bodies, they are not free to move at will. However, when one is situated in his original spiritual body, he can move anywhere and everywhere without difficulty. Within this material world, there is a planet called Siddha Loka, whose inhabitants can go from one planet to another without the aid of a machine or space rocket. In the material world, every planet has a specific advantage, vibhuti bina. In the spiritual world, however, all the planets and their inhabitants are composed of spiritual energy. Because there are no material impediments, it is said that everything in the spiritual world is one. 231. Vanapate dekhe mrga ache bhume pari vanavidha bhagna para kare dhadhari. Narada Muni saw that a deer was lying on the path of the forest and that it was pierced by an arrow. It had broken legs and was twisting due to much pain. 232. Arakata dure eka dekhena sukara tarche vidha bhagna para kare dhadhara. Farther ahead, Narada Muni saw a boar pierced by an arrow. Its legs were also broken, and it was twisting in pain. 233. Arche eka sashaka dekhe arakata dure jidhera dukha dekhi narada vyakulantare. When he went further, he saw a rabbit that was also suffering. Narada Muni was greatly pained at heart to see living entities suffer so. 234. Katha dure dekhe vyadha vrikshe untahana mrgamari bare ache bana yudhiya. When Narada Muni advanced farther, he saw a hunter behind a tree. This hunter was holding arrows and he was ready to kill more animals. 235. Shama varna raka netra mahabhayankara tanurbana haste yena yama dandadhara. The hunter's body was blackish. He had reddish eyes and he appeared fierce. It was as if the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, were standing there with a bow and arrows in his hands. 236. Atachari narada tara nikate chalila narade de kimrga sabapala gela. When Narada Muni left the forest path and went to the hunter, all the animals immediately saw him and fled. 237. Krudhahana vyadha tanre gali dite chaya narada prabhave mukhi gali nahiyaya. When all the animals fled, the hunter wanted to chastise Narada with abusive language, but due to Narada's presence, he could not utter anything abusive. 238. Goshani prayana pata chari kene aila toma deki mora laksha mrga palaila. The hunter addressed Narada Muni, O Goswami, O great saintly person, why have you left the general path through the forest and come to me? Simply by seeing you, all the animals I was hunting have now fled. 239. Narada kahe pata bhuli ailana puchite mane eka samshaya hayataha khandaite. Narada Muni replied, leaving the path, I have come to you to settle a doubt that is in my mind. 240. Pateyeshu karamriga jani tomarahaya yadha kahe kaha seita nishchaya. I was wondering whether all the boars and other animals that are half killed belong to you. The hunter replied, yes. What you are saying is so. 241. Narada kaheyade jive maratumi bhana arda marakara kene nala uparana. Narada Muni then inquired, why did you not kill the animals completely? Why did you half kill them by piercing their bodies with arrows? 242. Yadhakahe sunagoshani mrgadi moranama pitara sikshate yami kareyache kama. The hunter replied, my dear saintly person, my name is Mrgari, enemy of the animals. My father taught me to kill them in that way. 243. Ardhamara jiva yadi dadpara kare Sarveta ananda mora badaye antare. When I see half-killed animals suffer, I feel great pleasure. 244. Narada kahe eke vastu magi tumhara stane yadha kahe mrgadi laha ye tomara mane. Narada Muni then told the hunter, I have one thing to beg of you. The hunter replied, you may take whatever animal or anything else you would like. 245. Mrgachala chahayadi aishamoragare yei chahata diba mrgavyagrambare. I have many skins. If you would like them, I shall give you either a deer skin or a tiger skin. 246. Narada kahe ihami kichu nahi chahi Ara ekadana ami magito matani. Narada Muni said, I do not want any of these skins. I am asking only one thing from you in charity. 247. Kali hoite tumiyei ragadi mariba Tratamei mariba ardha marana kariba. I beg you that from this day on, you will kill animals completely and not leave them half dead. 248. Yadha kahe ki badana magila amare ardha marila kiba hayataha kaha more. The hunter replied, My dear sir, what you are asking of me, what is wrong with the animals lying there half killed? Will you please explain this to me? 249. Narada kahe ardha marile jiva paya vyata jive dukkha dite cha tomara haiva aiche avasta. Narada Muni replied, If you leave the animals half dead, you are purposely giving them pain. Therefore, you will have to suffer the retaliation. Purport. This is an authoritative statement given by the greatest authority, Narada Muni. If one gives another living entity unnecessary pain, one will certainly be punished by the laws of nature with a similar pain. Although the hunter Mrigari was uncivilized, he still had to suffer the results of his sinful activities. However, if a civilized man kills animals regularly in a slaughterhouse to maintain his so-called civilization, using scientific methods and machines to kill animals, one cannot even estimate the suffering awaiting him. So-called civilized people consider themselves very advanced in education, but they do not know about the stringent laws of nature. According to nature's law, it is a life for a life. We can hardly imagine the sufferings of one who maintains a slaughterhouse. He endures suffering not only in this life, but in his next life also. It is said that a hunter, murderer, or killer is advised not to live and not to die. If he lives, he accumulates even more sins, which bring about more suffering in a future life. He is advised not to die because his dying means that he immediately begins to endure more suffering. Therefore, he is advised not to live and not to die. As followers of Vedic principles, we accept the statements of Narada Muni in this regard. It is our duty to see that no one suffers due to sinful activities. Foolish rascals are described in Bhagavad Gita as Mayaya Paharita Janaha, which indicates that they are superficially educated. Maya has taken their real knowledge away. Such people are presently leading human society. In Srimad Bhagavatam, they are described as Anta Yatandar Upaniyamana. These rascals are themselves blind, and yet they are leading others who are blind. When people follow such leaders, they suffer unlimited pains in the future. Despite so-called advancement, all this is happening. Who is safe? Who is happy? Who is without anxiety? 250. Yadhatumi jivamara alpa apardha tomara kadartana diyamara epapa apara. Narada Muni continued, My dear hunter, your business is killing animals. That is a slight offense on your part. But when you consciously give them unnecessary pain by leaving them half dead, you incur very great sins. Purport. This is another good instruction to animal killers. There are always animal killers and animal eaters in human society because less civilized people are accustomed to eating meat. In the Vedic civilization, meat eaters are advised to kill an animal for the goddess Kali or a similar demigod. This is in order not to give the animal unnecessary pain as a slaughterhouse does. In the Bali Dana, sacrifice to a demigod, it is recommended to cut the throat of an animal with one slice. This should be done on a dark moon night, and the painful noises expressed by the animal at the time of being slaughtered are not to be heard by anyone. There are also many other restrictions. Slaughter is allowed only once a month, and the killer of the animal has to suffer similar pains in his next life. At the present moment, so-called civilized men do not sacrifice animals to a deity in a religious or ritualistic way. They openly kill animals daily by the thousands for no other purpose than the satisfaction of the tongue. Because of this, the entire world is suffering in so many ways. Politicians are unnecessarily declaring war, and according to the stringent laws of material nature, massacres are taking place between nations. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are actually carried. Thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. Bhagavad Gita 3.27. The laws of Prakriti, nature, are very stringent. No one should think that he has the freedom to kill animals and not suffer the consequences. One cannot be safe by doing this. Narada Muni herein says that animal killing is offensive, especially when animals are given unnecessary pain. Meat eaters and animal killers are advised not to purchase meat from the slaughterhouse. They can worship Kali once a month, kill some unimportant animal and eat it. Even by following this method, one is still an offender. (251) Kadhartiya tumiyata marila jivere tara taiche to mamaribe janma janmanantare. Narada Muni continued, all the animals that you have killed and given unnecessary pain will kill you one after the other in your next life and in life after life. This is another authoritative statement made by the great sage Narada. Those who kill animals and give them unnecessary pain, as people do in slaughterhouses, will be killed in a similar way in the next life and in many lives to come. One can never be excused from such an offense. If one kills many thousands of animals in a professional way so that other people can purchase meat to eat, one must be ready to be killed in a similar way in his next life and in life after life. There are many rascals who violate their own religious principles. According to Judeo-Christian scriptures, it is clearly stated, "Thou shalt not kill." Nonetheless, giving all kinds of excuses, even the heads of religions indulge in killing animals while trying to pass as saintly persons. This mockery and hypocrisy in human society brings about unlimited calamities. Therefore, occasionally, there are great wars. Masses of such people go out at the battlefields and kill themselves. Presently, they have discovered the atomic bomb, which is simply waiting to be used for the wholesale destruction. If people want to be saved from killing business in life after life, they must take the Kṛṣṇa consciousness and cease sinful activity. The International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness recommends that everyone abandon meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. When one gives up these sinful activities, he can understand Kṛṣṇa and take to this Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement. We therefore request everyone to abandon sinful activity and chant the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, people can save themselves from repeated birth and death, and from being killed like the animals in slaughterhouses. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 252. Narada Sange Vyadhera Vana Parshana Haila Tanravakya Suni Mane Bhaya Upajila. In this way, through the association of the great sage Narada Muni, the hunter was a little convinced of his sinful activity. He therefore became somewhat afraid due to his offenses. Purport. This is the effect of associating with a pure devotee. Our preachers who are preaching Kṛṣṇa consciousness all over the world should follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni and become purified by following the 4 principles of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This will make them fit to become Vaishnavas. Then when they speak to sinful people about the teachings of this Krishna consciousness movement, people will be affected and take the instructions. We receive instructions in devotional service through the disciplic succession. Narada Muni is our original guru because he is the spiritual master of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is the spiritual master of our disciplic succession. Therefore, we should follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni and become pure Vaishnavas. A pure Vaishnava is one who has no ulterior motive. He has totally dedicated himself to the service of the Lord. He does not have material desires, and he is not interested in so-called learning and philanthropic work. The so-called learned scholars and philanthropists are actually karmis and jnanis, and some are actually misers engaged in sinful activity. All are condemned because they are not devotees of Lord Krishna. Everyone has a chance to become purified by associating with the Krishna consciousness movement and strictly following the rules and regulations. By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from all contamination, especially contamination brought by the killing of animals. Lord Krishna himself requests, Sarva dharmam parityaga, mamikam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami masucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This is Bhagavad Gita 18.66. We should take this instruction from Krishna and follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni in the disciplic succession. If we simply surrender unto Krishna's lotus feet and take this Krishna consciousness movement seriously, we can be freed from the karma incurred by sin. If we are intelligent enough, we shall engage in the loving service of the Lord. Then our lives will be successful, and we shall not have to suffer like that hunter life after life. By killing animals, not only will we be bereft of a human form, but we will have to take an animal form and somehow or other be killed at the same type of animal we have been killed. This is the law of nature. The Sanskrit word mamsa means meat. It is said, mamsha kādati iti mamamsa. That is, I am now eating the flesh of an animal who will someday in the future be eating my flesh. 253. Yadha kahe bhaya hoite ei amara karma ke mane tari mumuni amara adama. The hunter then admitted that he was convinced of his sinful activity, and he said, I have been taught this business from my very childhood. Now I am wondering, how can I become freed from these unlimited volumes of sinful activity? Purport. This kind of admission is very beneficial as long as one does not again commit sin. Cheating and hypocrisy are not tolerated by higher authorities. If one understands what sin is, he should give it up with sincerity and regret and surrender unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his agent, the pure devotee. In this way, one can be freed from the reactions of sin and make progress in devotional service. However, if one continues committing sins after making some atonement, he will not be saved. In the Shastras, such atonement is compared to an elephant's bathing. An elephant takes a very good bath and cleanses its body very nicely. But as soon as it comes out of the water, it picks up some dust on the shore and throws it all over its body. Atonement may be carried out very nicely, but it will not help a person if he continues committing sins. Therefore, the hunter first admitted his sinful activity before the saintly person Narada, and then asked how he could be saved. 254. Ei papa ya mora ke mana upaye nistara karaha more haronto mara paye. The hunter continued, My dear sir, please tell me how I can be relieved from the reactions of my sinful life. Now I fully surrender unto you and fall down at your lotus feet. Please deliver me from sinful reactions. Purport. By the grace of Narada Muni, the hunter came to his good senses and immediately surrendered unto the saint's lotus feet. This is the process. By associating with a saintly person, one is able to understand the reactions of his sinful life. When one voluntarily surrenders to a saintly person who is a representative of Kṛṣṇa and follows his instructions, one can become freed from all sinful reactions. Kṛṣṇa demands the surrender of a sinful man, and Kṛṣṇa's representative gives the same instructions. The representative of Kṛṣṇa never tells his disciple, "Surrender unto me." Rather, he says, "Surrender unto Kṛṣṇa." If the disciple accepts this principle and surrenders himself through the representative of Kṛṣṇa, his life is saved. 255. Narada kaheyari jara mara vachana tabe se kari te pari tomara mochana. Narada Muni assured the hunter, "If you listen to my instructions, I shall find the way you can be liberated." Purport. Gurangera Bhakta Gane Jane Jane Shakti Dare. The purport of this song is that the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very powerful, and each and every one of them can deliver the whole world. What then to speak of Narada Muni? If one follows the instructions of Narada Muni, one can be delivered from any number of sinful reactions. This is the process. One must follow the instructions of a spiritual master. Then one will certainly be delivered from all sinful reactions. This is the secret of success. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata guru. If one has unflinching faith in Kṛṣṇa and the spiritual master, the result is tasyate katita hyartha prakashante mahatmana. All the conclusions of the revealed scriptures will be open to such a person. A pure devotee of Kṛṣṇa can make the same demands that Narada Muni is making. He says, "If you follow my instructions, I shall take responsibility for your liberation." A pure devotee like Narada can give assurance to any sinful man. By the grace of the Lord, such a devotee is empowered to deliver any sinful person if that person follows the principles set forth. 256. Yadha kahe yei kaha seita kariba narada kahe dhantuka bhanga tabe se kahiba. The hunter then said, "My dear sir, whatever you say I shall do." Purport. Narada immediately ordered him, "First of all, break your bow. Then I shall tell you what is to be done." This is the process of initiation. The disciple must vow that he will no longer commit sinful activity, namely illicit sex, meat-eating, gambling, and intoxication. He promises to execute the order of the spiritual master. Then the spiritual master takes care of him and elevates him to spiritual emancipation. 257. Yadha kahe dhanuka bandhile bhariba kemane Narada kahe ameyana diva pratidine. The hunter replied, "If I break my bow, how shall I maintain myself?" Narada Muni replied, "Do not worry, I shall supply all your food every day." The source of your income is not actually the source of our maintenance. Every living being, from the great Brahma down to an insignificant ant, is being maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eko bunam yo vidhate kamam. The one Supreme Being, Kṛṣṇa, maintains everyone. Our so-called source of income is our own choice only. If I wish to be a hunter, it will appear that hunting is the source of my maintenance. If I become a Brahmana and completely depend on Kṛṣṇa, I do not conduct a business, but nonetheless my maintenance is supplied by Kṛṣṇa. The hunter was disturbed about breaking his bow because he was worried about his income. Narada Muni assured the hunter because he knew that the hunter was not being maintained by the bow, but by Kṛṣṇa. Being the agent of Kṛṣṇa, Narada Muni knew very well that the hunter would not suffer by breaking the bow. There was no doubt that Kṛṣṇa would supply him food. 258. Dhanuka bhangi vyadha tandra charane padila tare utana narada upadesha kaila. Being thus assured by the great sage Narada Muni, the hunter broke his bow, immediately fell down at the saint's lotus feet, and fully surrendered. After this, Narada Muni raised him with his hand and gave him instructions for spiritual advancement. Purport. This is a process of initiation. The disciple must surrender to the spiritual master, the representative of Kṛṣṇa. The spiritual master, being in a disciplic succession stemming from Narada Muni, is in the same category with Narada Muni. A person can be relieved from his sinful activity if he surrenders to the lotus feet of a person who actually represents Narada Muni. Narada Muni gave instructions to the hunter after the hunter surrendered. 259. Garegiya brahmane deha yata chetana eka vasra pari bahira how duhijana. Narada Muni then advised the hunter, return home and distribute whatever riches you have to pure brahmanas who know the absolute truth. After you have distributed all your riches to the brahmanas, you and your wife should leave home, each of you taking only one cloth to wear. Purport. This is the process of renunciation at the stage of the vanaprastha. After enjoying householder life for some time, the husband and wife must leave home and distribute their riches to brahmanas and Vaishnavas. One can keep his wife as an assistant in the vanaprastha stage. The idea is that the wife will assist the husband in spiritual advancement. Therefore, Narada Muni advised the hunter to adopt the vanaprastha stage and leave home. It is not that a grihast should live at home until he dies. Vanaprastha is preliminary to sannyas. In the Krishna consciousness movement, there are many young couples engaged in the Lord's service. Eventually, they are supposed to take vanaprastha, and after vanaprastha, the husband may take sannyas in order to preach. The wife may then remain alone and serve the deity or engage in other activities within the Krishna consciousness movement. 260. Naritire ekakani kutira kariya tara age ekapindi tulasi rupiya. Narada Muni continued, leave your home and go to the river. There you should construct a small cottage, and in front of the cottage you should grow a tulsi plant on a raised platform. 261. Tulasi parikramakara tulasi sevana nirantara kṛṣṇārāmaś kariha kirtana. After planting the tulasi tree before your house, you should daily circumambulate that tulsi plant, serve her by giving her water and other things, and continuously chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Purport. This is the beginning of spiritual life. After leaving householder life, one may go to a holy place, such as the bank of the Ganges or Yamuna, and erect a small cottage. A small cottage can be constructed without any expenditure. 4 logs serving as pillars can be secured by any man from the forest. The roof can be covered with leaves, and one can cleanse the inside. Thus one can live very peacefully. In any condition, any man can live in a small cottage, plant a tulsi tree, water it in the morning, offer up prayers, and continuously chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Thus one can make vigorous spiritual advancement. This is not at all difficult. One simply has to follow the instructions of the spiritual master strictly. Then everything will be successful in due course of time. As far as eating is concerned, there is no problem. If Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, supplies everyone with eatables, why should he not supply his devotee? Sometimes a devotee will not even bother to construct a cottage. He will simply go live in a mountain cave. One may live in a cave, in a cottage beside a river, in a palace, or in a big city like New York or London. In any case, a devotee can follow the instructions of his spiritual master and engage in devotional service by watering the tulasi plant and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Taking the advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, one can go to any part of the world and instruct people to become devotees of the Lord by following the regulative principles being worshipped by following the regulative principles, worshipping the tulsi plant, and continuously chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. 262. Amito maya bahu anapatai modine sei analabeyata kaudu vijane. Narada Muni continued, every day I shall send sufficient food to you both. You can take as much food as you want. Purport. When a person takes the Krishna consciousness, there is no need to care for material necessities. Krishna says, Yogakshemam Vadham Yaham. I personally carry all necessities to my devotees. Why should one be anxious about the necessities of life? The principle should be that one should not want more than what is absolutely necessary. Narada Muni advises the hunter to accept only what is absolutely necessary for him and his wife. The devotee should always be alert to consume only those things that he absolutely requires and not create unnecessary needs. 263. Tabesei mrgaditine narada susta kaila sustahanam mrgaditine dhana palaila. The three animals that were half killed were then brought to their consciousness by the sage Narada. Indeed, the animals got up and swiftly fled. 264. Dekhiya vyadhe ramane haila chamatkara gare gela vyadha guru ke kari namaskara. When the hunter saw the half-killed animals flee, he was certainly struck with wonder. He then offered his respectful obeisances to the sage Narada and returned home. 265. Yatastane Narada Gela Vyadha Gare Aila Naradera Upadeshe Sakala Karila. After all, this Narada Muni went to his destination. After all this, Narada Muni went to his destination. After the hunter returned home, he exactly followed the instructions of his spiritual master, Narada. Purport. For spiritual advancement, one must have a bona fide spiritual master and follow his instructions in order to be assured of advancement. 266. Ramedvani Haila Vyadha Vaishnava Haila Ramera Loka Sabana Anite Lagila. The news that the hunter had become a Vaishnava spread all over the village. Indeed, all the villagers brought alms and presented them to the Vaishnava who had formerly been a hunter. Purport. It is the duty of the public to present a gift to a saintly person, Vaishnava or Brahmana, when going to see him. Every Vaishnava is dependent on Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa is ready to supply all of life's necessities, provided the Vaishnava follows the principles set forth by the spiritual master. There are certainly many householders in our Krishna consciousness movement. They join the movement and live in the society centers, but if they take advantage of this opportunity and do not work but live at the expense of the movement, eating prasadam and simply sleeping, they place themselves in a very dangerous position. It is therefore advised that grihastas should not live in the temple. They must live outside the temple and maintain themselves. Of course, if the grihastas are fully engaged in the Lord's service, according to the directions of the authorities, there is no harm in their living in a temple. In any case, a temple should not be a place to eat and sleep. The temple manager should be very careful about these things. 267. Ekadina ana ane dasa visha jane dine tatalaya yata kaya duhi jane. In one day, enough food is brought for 10 or 20 people. The hunter and his wife would only accept as much as they could eat. 268. Ekadina narada kahe sunaha parvate amara ekasishache chalaha dikite. One day, while speaking to his friend Parvata Muni, Narada Muni requested him to go with him to see his disciple, the hunter. 269. Tabedui rishi aila sei vyadhastane dura hoite vyadha paila gurura darshane. As the saintly sages approached the hunter's place, the hunter could see them from a distance. 270. Aste vyaste dana ase pata nahi paya patera pipitli iti uti dare paya. With the great alacrity, the hunter began to run towards his spiritual master. But he could not fall down and offer obeisances because ants were running hither and thither around his feet. 271. Dandavatstane pipi likare dekhiya vastre stana jadi pade dandavatana. Seeing the ants, the hunter whisked them away with a piece of cloth. After thus clearing the ants from the ground, he fell down flat to offer his obeisances. The word danda means rod, and vat means like. To offer obeisances to the spiritual master, one must fall flat exactly as a rod falls on the ground. This is the meaning of the word dandavat. 272. Narada kahevyada einahaya ascharya haribhakti himsa sunya haya sadhu varya. Narada Muni said, "My dear hunter, such behavior is not at all astonishing. A man in devotional service is automatically non-violent. He is the best of gentlemen." Purport. In this verse, the word sadhu varya means the best of gentlemen. At the present moment, there are many so-called gentlemen who are expert in killing animals and birds. Nonetheless, these so-called gentlemen profess a type of religion that strictly prohibits killing. According to Narada Muni in Vedic culture, animal killers are not even gentlemen, to say nothing of being religious men. A religious person, a devotee of the Lord, must be non-violent. Such is the nature of a religious person. It is contradictory to be violent and at the same time call oneself a religious person. Such hypocrisy is not approved by Narada Muni and the disciplic succession. Text 273. Jitenaya adbhuta vyadha tavhimsa dayo guna haribhakto pravrittaye nateshu paratapina. O hunter, good qualities like non-violence which you have developed are not very astonishing for those engaged in the Lord's devotional service. O hunter, good qualities like non-violence which you have developed are not very astonishing, for those engaged in the Lord's devotional service are never inclined to give pain to others because of envy. Purport. This is a quote from the Skanda Purana. Text 274. Tabesei vyadhadonhare angane anila kushashanani donhare bhakteva shaila. The hunter then received the two great sages in the courtyard of his house. He spread out a straw mat for them to sit upon, and with great devotion he begged them to sit down. 275. Jalani bhakte donhara para praksha lila sei jala stri purushe piya shire laila. He then fetched water and washed the sage's feet with great devotion. Then both husband and wife drank that water and sprinkled it on their heads. This is the process one should follow when receiving the spiritual master or someone on the level of the spiritual master. When the spiritual master comes to the residence of his disciples, the disciples should follow in the footsteps of the former hunter. It doesn't matter what one was before initiation. After initiation, one must learn the etiquette mentioned herein. (276) Kampapula kasruhaila kṛṣṇārāmaś urvabadu nrityakare vastra udana. When the hunter chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra before his spiritual master, His body trembled and tears welled up in his eyes. Filled with ecstatic love, he raised his hands and began to dance, waving his garments up and down. 277. Dekhiya vyadhira prema parvata mahamuni naradera kahe tumi haus parshamani. When Parvata Muni saw the ecstatic loving symptoms of the hunter, he told Narada, "Certainly you are a touchstone." Purport. When a touchstone touches iron, it turns the iron to gold. Parvata Muni called Narada Muni a touchstone because by his touch the hunter, who was the lowest among men, became an elevated and perfect Vaishnava. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that the position of a Vaishnava can be tested by seeing how good a touchstone he is. That is, seeing how many Vaishnavas he has made during his life. A Vaishnava should be a touchstone so that he can convert others to Vaishnavism by his preaching, even though people may be fallen like the hunter. There are many so-called advanced devotees who sit in a secluded place for their personal benefit. They do not go out and preach and convert others to Vaishnavas, and therefore they certainly cannot be called a Sparshamani, advanced devotee. Kṛṣṇa Adhikari devotees cannot turn others into Vaishnavas, but a Madhyama Adhikari Vaishnava can do so by preaching. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised his followers to increase the numbers of Vaishnavas. Yarade Tarekaha Krishna Upadesha Amara Agya Guru Hanakara Edesha. That's from Madhya Lila, chapter 7, text 128. Continuing with the purport, it is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wish that everyone should become a Vaishnava and Guru. Following the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciplic succession, one can become a spiritual master, for the process is very easy. One can go everywhere and anywhere to preach the instructions of Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's instructions. Therefore, the duty of every Vaishnava is to travel and preach the Bhagavad Gita, either in his country or a foreign country. This is the test of Sparshamani, following in the footsteps of Narada Muni. 278. Aho danyo siddhivarshe kripaya yasya takshanat icho pulako lebe rubdhako ratim achute. Parvata Muni continued, "My dear friend Narada Muni, you are glorified as the sage among the demigods. By your mercy, even a low-born person like this hunter can immediately become attached to Lord Kṛṣṇa." Purport. A pure Vaishnava believes in the statements of the Shastras. This verse is quoted from the Vedic literature, the Skanda Purana. 279. Narada kahe Vaishnava tomarana kichu aya yadha kahe yare pato se diya. Narada Muni then asks the hunter, "My dear Vaishnava, do you have some income for your maintenance?" Purport. The hunter replied, "My dear spiritual master, whoever you send gives me something when he comes to see me." This confirms the statement in Bhagavad Gita 9.22, to the effect that the Lord carries all necessities to his Vaishnava devotee. Narada Muni asked the former hunter how he was being maintained, and he replied that everyone who came to see him brought him something for his maintenance. Kṛṣṇa, who is situated in everyone's heart, says, "I personally carry all necessities to a Vaishnava." He can order anyone to execute this. Everyone is ready to give something to a Vaishnava, and if a Vaishnava is completely engaged in devotional service, then he need not be anxious for his maintenance. 280. Eta ana napato kichu karya nai sabedu janara yogya bhaksha matra chai. The former hunter said, "Please do not send so much grain. Only send what is sufficient for 2 people, no more." Purport. The former hunter only wanted enough for 2 people to eat, no more. It is not necessary for a Vaishnava to keep a stock of food for the next day. He should receive only sufficient grain to last 1 day. The next day he must again depend on the Lord's mercy. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When his personal servant Govinda sometimes kept a stock of haritaki, maro balan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised him, saying, "Why do you keep a stock for the next day?" Srila Rupa Goswami and others were begging daily from door to door for their sustenance, and they never attempted to stock for their ashram with food for the next day. We should not materially calculate, thinking it is better to stock food for a week. Why give the Lord trouble by having him bring food daily? One should be convinced that the Lord will provide daily. There is no need for stock for the next day. Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 281. Narada kahe aiche raha tumi bhagyavan etabali dui jana hailan kandara. Narada Muni approved his not wanting more than a daily supply of food, and he blessed him, saying, "You are fortunate." Narada Muni and Parvata Muni then disappeared from that place. (282) Eita kahilun tomaya vyadhera kyana yasuni leha yasaru sangha prabhava jnana. Thus I have narrated the incident of the hunter. By hearing this narration, one can understand the influence of association with devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to stress that even a hunter, the lowest of men, could become a topmost Vaishnava simply by associating with Narada Muni, or a devotee in his bona fide disciplic succession. All glories to Sripad Bhaktimadhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. All glories to the worldwide devotees Ki Jai. All glories to all human and non-human living entities Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Haribo.